The International Automobile Federation, FIA, recently released technical updates to the 2026 Formula One regulations. The main focus of the revisions is a tightening of the definition of tire temperature control systems, which, although seemingly minor, has sparked considerable speculation in the paddock. Many believe that this move is indirectly aimed at limiting controversial innovations currently being developed by McLaren. In recent races, McLaren has demonstrated significant improvements, particularly in tire wear management and long-term performance under high-temperature conditions. Their ability to maintain tire thermal stability has led several rivals to question the legality of their system. While McLaren officially claims that the performance boost stems from improved aerodynamic balance and weight distribution, several suspicious signals have begun to attract the attention of rival teams. One practice under scrutiny is the pre-race routine, where the installation of the rear wheels is delayed until the last minute, along with McLaren mechanics covering the rear brake duct area from the view of photographers or competing teams. Meanwhile, McLaren's aggressive strategy in the third free practice session, FP3, focused on qualifying simulations, is believed to be their way of calibrating tire temperature data collection with precision. This approach gives them exceptional thermal control without violating the FIA's specified tire blanket temperature limits. In response, the FIA introduced a new clause in the technical regulations prohibiting any system that indirectly affects or maintains tire temperature outside the prescribed procedures. This clause specifically addresses suspicions surrounding McLaren's system, believed to manipulate tire temperature through unconventional methods, such as recycling heat from the braking system to the rear tires. Several sources within the paddock have noted that this rule update was implemented quietly without an official statement, unlike the FIA's approach to previous issues such as Mercedes DS, flexible wings, or floors exceeding flexibility limits. This move comes shortly after McLaren secured 3 consecutive podium finishes and consistently challenged the dominance of Red Bull and Ferrari. Some midfield teams are reported to have informally lodged complaints, accusing McLaren of exploiting a gray area in the regulations to gain an unfair advantage. McLaren's technical involvement with brake system supplier Abono and Mercedes power unit partner has also been cited as strengthening suspicions that the combination of these components is being used to indirectly control tire temperature, in a manner that is difficult to prove explicitly but sufficient to warrant regulatory intervention. The FIA now faces the classic Formula One dilemma: how to maintain the spirit of innovation without allowing certain teams to cross the line of competitive integrity. This regulatory change sends a strong signal that the governing body will not hesitate to act swiftly, even quietly, if technology is deemed to potentially disrupt the championship's balance. The FIA has finally acted. In updated language, the 2026 regulations explicitly prohibit any system that indirectly affects tire temperature outside of established procedures. A statement that aligns perfectly with the technology allegedly used by McLaren. The fact that no other team is suspected of doing the same strengthens the suspicion that this is a direct reaction to McLaren. The FIA's move comes as McLaren solidifies its position as a new force on the grid, with 3 consecutive podium finishes and performance threatening the dominance of Red Bull and Ferrari. Informal complaints from midfield teams have begun to surface, with some engineers accusing McLaren of exploiting a gray area in the regulations. Interestingly, the FIA chose to take a quiet approach. There was no major press release, no official statement, just a minor revision in the technical documents, but enough to send the F1 world into a frenzy. McLaren itself insists that it never broke the rules. And that statement is true, until the rules are changed. Some observers also highlighted McLaren's technical relationship with Abono and Mercedes, believed to have assisted in integrating the braking system and power unit. This combination is suspected to be the basis for the tire temperature management system through heat recycling from the brakes, an extraordinary innovation, but now restricted by the new rules. The timing is also highly strategic. McLaren has just secured 3 consecutive double podium finishes and is beginning to be touted as a championship contender. But now, all eyes are on them. If their performance suddenly drops, if their grid strategy changes, or if their brake duct design becomes more ordinary, then suspicions will be confirmed. However, if they remain dominant, the debate over the line between innovation and infringement will intensify. The question now is whether McLaren will remain dominant after these rules are implemented. If their performance declines, suspicions about the hidden system will grow stronger. But if not, the pressure on them will increase, and every operational detail will be scrutinized closely by the FIA and rival teams. With the 2026 season approaching and competition intensifying, one thing is clear: McLaren is now under the sharpest scrutiny. And in Formula One, innovation that is too bold can backfire in the blink of an eye.
Great tension is gripping the Aston Martin team just days before the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix. This time the spotlight is not about car development or on-track performance, but the physical condition of Lance Stroll, one of the team's main drivers and also the son of team owner Lawrence Stroll. This situation not only covers race readiness, but also touches on aspects of reputation, team strategy, and Stroll's own future in the world of Formula One. It all started with Stroll's sudden withdrawal from the Spanish Grand Prix a few weeks ago. This decision surprised many, especially since there was no previous indication that he had any serious problems. However, it was later revealed that Stroll was still suffering from hand and wrist injuries he suffered in a cycling accident at the beginning of 2023. The injury had previously been operated on, but it turned out that he had not fully recovered. The pain has worsened in recent weeks, requiring him to undergo additional corrective medical procedures just 2 weeks before the Canadian GP, a home race that is very emotionally meaningful. For a driver, appearing in front of his own fans is a rare and historic moment. But Stroll's physical condition makes that moment a big gamble. To make matters worse, Aston Martin had no backup options ready to compete. Their 2 official reserve drivers, Felipe Drugovich and Stoffel van Dorn, were both committed to the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans. This left the team in a precarious position. If Stroll were to be unavailable, Aston Martin would only field 1 car, Fernando Alonso's. In the highly competitive and constructor points-driven world of F1, this could have major implications, not just technically, but also financially and in terms of public image. For Lawrence Stroll, this scenario was a nightmare. As team owner and father of Lance, seeing his team limping in a race that symbolically belonged to them was hard to swallow. Especially given Aston Martin's ambitions of building a state-of-the-art facility, expanding its workforce and publicly stating its target of breaking into the top 3 constructors. Realizing the crisis, the team acted quickly. Lance Stroll underwent additional surgery under the guidance of Dr. Xavier Mir, a renowned trauma doctor well known in motorsport. After the operation, Stroll was not given a long recovery period. He immediately underwent intensive testing at Paul Ricard using a previous generation F1 car. Not a simulation, not a light training, but a full-pressure test that truly imitated racing conditions. The purpose of this test was clear: to bring out Stroll's physical abilities in dealing with G-force loads, fast maneuvers, and wrist endurance. This test was a kind of dress rehearsal before Aston Martin made a final decision. The result, according to the team, was a successful. Aston Martin then announced that Stroll would return to compete at the Canadian GP. But behind this announcement, an important question arose: was this a completely safe medical decision, or was it a decision driven by emotional pressure and image needs? The Montreal circuit is not a physically friendly track. The combination of fast corners and hard braking zones is very demanding on hand and wrist strength. The risk of recurrence or even worsening of the injury remains. In a situation like this, hasty decisions can have long-term consequences. This crisis also exposed a weak point in Aston Martin's reserve structure. The reliance on 2 reserve drivers who are also active in other events is a serious gap. Going forward, the team may have to consider appointing a third reserve driver who is not tied to external commitments, a move that would be a necessity if they are to avoid similar risks in the future. Beyond all this, there is the bigger question of Lance Stroll's future. His performances have often lagged behind Fernando Alonso, and his presence at the team has been largely tied to his father's ownership. With Aston Martin set to become a factory team alongside Honda from 2026, the pressure to produce a top-notch driver is only going to increase. The likes of Oscar Piastri, Yuki Tsunoda and Felipe Drugovich are being bandied about as potential alternatives. Will Stroll still be part of Aston Martin's future ambitions? Or will he become a victim of those ambitions? Still, there is no denying that Stroll's decision to continue racing after undergoing surgery shows great courage and dedication. He chose to face the physical challenges and public pressure rather than withdraw at a crucial time. But in Formula One, guts alone are not enough. Physical endurance, consistent performance and a well-thought-out strategic team are the real drivers of success. Now all eyes are on Montreal. Not just to see if but also to assess, is this a heroic step by a warrior, or an early signal of a larger crisis in Aston Martin's ambitious project?
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just double up, don't be scared.